Hey everybody, Dr. Theon here, and I just got back from a killer spin class, and I have to tell you, I crushed this class. I was moving and grooving, and I was so into it today. And I know part of that was because I was on with the Black CEO Tribe on their morning show this morning. That show gives you so much energy and makes you just feel alive. And what I wanted to do to gift the Black CEO Tribe, I decided to open my Get Shift Done webinar and give that to them for free. Take a viewing of it, take a look. I hope you enjoy it. In the words of Ruben West, it's the Karma Cafe. You get what you give. And I feel like you guys at the Black CEO Tribe have been giving me so much with your energy and your love. I wanted to give you something a little bit more. So enjoy Get Shift Done. And hey, I want you to do that too. Get Shift Done. Welcome to Get Shift Done. I'm so excited that you guys have joined me one more time for Get Shift Done the second time around. Today, we're going to talk about how procrastination has stopped a lot of us in a lot of our lives. And we're going to start talking about Get Shift Done. So, first of all, I am Dr. Theon, and I'm going to tell you why I'm here. I'm here because today I want to help you learn to crush procrastination. I mean, just kill it. And I actually learned how to crush procrastination myself and became an expert on it because I recognized I had become a procrastinator big time. Nobody would ever believe I was a procrastinator. Actually, I had become a procrastinator. You read the stories in my emails, maybe, and that was just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, I found myself procrastinating time after time, and I recognized it was becoming a habit that I had to overcome. Once I realized that it was causing me, once I realized what was causing me to procrastinate, I actually designed some tools to help me get out of my procrastination pit and keep from falling back in it. That's what I want to share with you today. Now, of course, I created this Get Shift Done plan to help myself and to help others, but I wasn't always, just like none of you are always procrastinators. I mean, I've led 501c3 organizations and corporate organizations to financial successes. I created my company, Beyond Story Consulting and Training, to motivate and move individuals from organizations to actually move from their passion stories to profit centers. And just amazing work that's been done throughout my life. And I'm sure you all have the same type of work that you've done, but still, you get to a point sometimes where it's easier to kind of put things off and you don't necessarily make the changes that you want to make in life. So, what I've had to do was combine all the skills I've had and use the skills that I've used time and time over again to create a method to stop procrastinating so that I could win and move my passion story from the passion to the profit. So, why are you here? I'm hoping that most of you are here because you kind of resonated with where I was, and maybe you were just a little bit stuck. You were at a point where you were in the slow to no on getting things done, and your ideas were dying right after the implementation stage. You weren't, maybe you're not sure of yourself, or maybe you're not sure of what's next for you. If you're in the procrastination pit, it means you're just tired. And when you're tired, sometimes you're just tired of being tired. Sometimes we get directionless or feel like there's no one to help. And those are all reasons that might have drawn you here today. Well, I'm here to tell you that I don't want you to be stuck anymore. I want you to be released. And in this course, in this webinar, in the short time that we have together, I want you to understand where you are, why you got here, and how to get off that road to nowhere. I want you to be able to discover your genius, get revived, find your path, choose a guide along that way, and then shift to your next level. That's what getting shift done is all about. You don't want to end up in that procrastination pit, which I call the deep tunnel where I go to eat because I like to have goodies in that pit with ice cream and cookies and lay on the sofa and watch reruns of Frasier, which is one of my favorite shows. No, we want to get released and find a path to move forward. So we're going to get started right away and get shift done. That's what this webinar is about. And that's what we're going to do. get shift done. So let's go forward with it. How many of you think that you're ordinary people? You you just are the people who are here on this earth doing what you do every day, and you're an ordinary person. Now, let me give you the definition for the record of what ordinary is. In Webster's, it says that ordinary is with no special or distinctive features or normal. So if you say you're ordinary, to me, what you're saying is there's nothing special about me. Well, I don't believe you're ordinary. And I believe, in fact, I know your belief in being ordinary is the number one thing that makes you procrastinate. You've lost your mojo. You've forgotten that you are not ordinary. You have forgotten that you are extraordinary and that you're special. Out of the 7.4 billion people in the world, you are unique. And do you know why? Because you are an original. You see, you have unique ears, you have unique eyes, you have a unique iris, a unique tongue. Your gait is unique, your fingerprints, and of course, your DNA. But even more important than that, you have a unique background, a unique perspective. You have unique talents and abilities. Your physical capabilities and your intellect are all original. Your personality, your idiosyncrasies, all of these are the unique blend that make you you. God doesn't do copies. He's in the business of making originals. And when you remember who you are and who you were created to be, then and only then can you move forward and stop procrastinating and fulfill the purpose to live into your passion. Everyone should have received a little exercise manual when you signed up for this class. And if you signed up for the webinar, that little manual would have come in the last email. So pull your little manual out. And if you have it online, pull it up and write down or type, I must find my extraordinary me. Type it and look at it. I must find my extraordinary me. You see, in order to get out of the procrastination pit, you have to know why. You have to know why you're moving from the pit into something else. And what I'm suggesting to you is that you move into that something else that is you. I am suggesting that you find those passions and talents and ideas and capabilities and use that intellect and personality to be your best you, to create your best story. So now that you've written down, I must find my extraordinary me, there's a little exercise in the exercise manual, and it asks you to write a lot of things that make you different than anyone else. I want you to just think of 3 right now that make you different than anyone else. 3 things that make you unique and ordinary, or extraordinary, that make you unique and not ordinary. 3 things that make you extraordinary. And I'm not talking about your iris or your gait. I'm talking about those perspectives you have and those capabilities that you have. Find those 3 things. Think of just 3. You have so many more. You see, once you find your extraordinary, you have what it is that you need to stop you from moving forward, that stops you from moving forward. So, what keeps you from being your best? Once you know what it is, once you know that special, extraordinary thing, whether it's singing or speaking or math or keeping time or rhythm or networking or connecting, whatever your special gift is, once you know what that special gift is, what keeps you from using it? Well, I would say number 2, procrastination, is fear. Fear can destroy our psychological, impulses and immobilize us from taking action. Everyone experiences fear in some context during our lives. Fear of rejection, of failure, fear of success, like how can I handle the popularity or the pressure to compete at a higher level? We fear falling in and out of love, and we fear the unknown. Honestly, most of us feel a combination of these fears throughout our lives. It's hardwired in our human system, and nothing we do today or in our entire lifetime will take fear away. What we can do is learn how to use fear instead of letting it use us. You see, people think of fear as false evidence appearing real. That's the acronym. But there are times when you may have a flight system that goes off in your brain that says, hey, there's a big bear in front of me and you need to take flight. And that type of fear is healthy too. That means forget everything and run. So there's reasons where we use fear. And when we use it to our favor, when we understand why we're afraid, we can move forward. There are two primary fears that all human beings share. And one is we're afraid that we're not enough. And the other is we're afraid that we're not loved. How many times have you asked after completing your work, something that you know you're good at actually, did I do okay? Is it all right? That's the little voice asking, am I enough? We ask that question a lot. Beyonce actually asked that question after performing on the Oprah show. Was that okay? She asked. Come on, it was Beyonce. She did what she does, and she was great. But even Beyonce was looking for that validation. And I saw an interview with Oprah with Sheryl Sandberg when they were talking on the first Facebook Live. And at the end, I saw Oprah taking her mic off and asking Cheryl in a very worried way, did I do okay? Was that what you wanted? And Cheryl smiled and nodded yes. We all want to be confirmed and validated for our work, and even more so for who we are, so that we feel like we're enough. Number two is about not feeling like we're loved. And not feeling loved is about not having connection. Connection is one of the four primal needs that humans have. And we have this innate need to be connected with someone or something, whether it's a person or an ideal or a value or something like that. Connection can be love or some intense engagement. And not feeling connected makes us have a fear of not being loved. So, some of the things that we can do to calm these fears are get connected so that we feel like we have something that is love in our life. And the other thing we can do is know that we are enough and that what we do works. Find an accountability partner who tells you what you do is good so that you know you're enough. So let's just do a quick review. What stops us from moving forward? That answer is fear. And what are two primary fears all humans share? We're not enough and we won't be loved. So, the first two triggers for overcoming procrastination are finding your extraordinary and being aware of your fears. You know, that brings me back to me. And I'm going to tell you the story that I promised I'd tell from one of the emails I sent. I mentioned that I had a fear of horses because a long time ago, a white horse, when I was a child, a white horse chased me down, and my grandfather had to come to my rescue. It was actually my grandfather's horse. And I was afraid of horses ever since then. I've taken tapping classes and hypnosis classes and everything you could think of to try and get over my fear of horses because I love how they look and I love horses, but I'm afraid of horses. So just this past week, I was in Montana doing dream tending and storying, and while I was there working in that capacity, I ran across some horses on a ranch. And there was one horse, as you can see at the top of this PowerPoint slide, lying down. And I was really concerned about this horse because all the horses were guarding this horse. They were staying right there with the horse, like there was something going on and they wanted to protect the horse. So I decided I would take a picture of the horse and take it back to the ranch hand to see if they could come and protect the horse. Well, right when I began to take the picture, the white horse to, I guess, the left of my screen, maybe the right of your screen as you're looking at it, I'm not quite sure, but the horse at the bottom, the white horse, started walking straight toward me, and my heart started beating, and I was thinking I'm not going to be able to take this picture and show to the ranch hand. I wanted to do something good. I wanted to do it right away. I wanted to get a shift done. I wanted these horses to be well and to make sure that that horse was okay. But I froze because I was afraid. I had a fear, and this was one of those flight fears that I might even do forget everything and run. But at that moment, I knew that what I needed to do in getting the information back was more important than the fear that I had of this horse that was behind a gate. So the horse walked up to the gate in the first photo you'll see there, and he even put his head up to greet me. And I really was a little afraid, but I took the pictures and went on to continue along my walk. Well, as I worked with the dreams I was having and with some of the things that came through the work I was doing in Montana, I found that this horse was representative of my grandfather, who had saved me from this horse years ago, something I had just totally forgotten until this moment where I stood there in that fear. And so the next day, I walked back out near the horses. And again, the horses were the horse that was laying down was fine. He actually was sleeping laying down. I didn't realize sometimes they just sleep laying down. And they were all gathered in their own circle. None of the horses were coming toward me. But the minute I started walking toward the horses, the white horse came to me again. And this time, he really was beckoning for me to come to him. So I decided to take a chance. I decided to look fear in the face and take a chance so that I wouldn't be stuck in that procrastination moment, in that moment where I'm stuck because I'm too afraid. And I stood beside the horse. There was someone walking with me, and she took a picture of me standing beside him. The horse stuck his neck out for me to really respond to him. And I was a little nervous. You could see in the top right picture, I kind of was leaning back because it just was not something I was interested in doing. But finally I said, you know what? I'm gonna pet this horse. I'm gonna face this fear and I'm gonna connect with this horse because this is something that I need to do. So I may not be at the point where I can ride a horse right now, especially not the white horse. But I certainly connected with him. And in that connection, I felt my grandfather's spirit and I felt him there with me. And I felt the love and I felt the energy. And I felt really, really good about it. So it was a good moment. I loved it. And it was great. And that's my story about breaking through fear. So this is something that we have to do. Now, let me tell you what I did in that and what usually happens. I took a fear that was basically a belief that I had. It was an assumption based on the past from a contextual learned experience, and I turned it into something that I believe was real. So when we look at fact versus fear, that belief I had was false, that horses are something to be feared. Instead of continuing that fear, I started looking at my values. Thinking of my grandfather, I valued that connection I had with him. And that horse reminded me of my grandfather enough that I was able to release the belief that the horse was bad and embrace the value that I had of the love and connection of my grandfather and how he loved horses. And I was able to face that horse and to work with that horse. So, whatever is important to us is what we value. When you find your extraordinary and you attach your value to it, it will help you to stop procrastinating. It's important to overcome your fears and fuel the fire of your values. That will help you to stop procrastinating. So, when we start talking about what we feel in terms of our values, and those are the things that make us move, this is the next thing that we find to be helpful or not so helpful. And it's about how we think to move forward. We've seen all the books: Think and Grow Rich, The Richest Man in Babylon, The Power of Now, The Power of Positive Thinking, The Magic of Big Thinking. All these books tell you that there's a secret that if you think powerfully enough, you will create a story of greatness and you'll move forward. Power speaker Brian Tracy teaches the law of concentration states that whatever you dwell upon grows. The more you think about something, the more it becomes part of your reality. If you decide you're low on energy and feel lethargic, you're going to continue to feel more tired. There are thousands of books written on the topic of changing your life by thinking a certain way. These books are true when you look at them from their deeper perspective. You cannot lay on your sofa eating a bag of chips and think about losing weight while watching The Biggest Loser. It just is not going to work. Trust me, I've tried. Honestly, there's nothing you can only think your way into. I wish it were totally true. I wish I could tell you that that was the magic, that I was going to teach you a meditation tool that thought you into something. But thoughts are just seeds. And when you plant good seed, which takes action to actually do something, you actually will have a good crop. But seeds have to be planted to grow. Again, that's action. They have to be cultivated and cared for. Action. So you start with the process of planting a garden, a good thought in your head and good language. And then you speak into your life the things that you want versus what you don't want. And you give yourself what's on the exercise manual, life thrilling phrases instead of killing ones. And you do. You get up and you do something every day. These are the actions that you have to do. You make that change connect with who you are by putting the action to it. The action comes in the form of self-analysis, experience, and practice. It's something you have to practice every single day. When you connect the thought with your action, it becomes a part of your character. And then you earn the right to the law of attraction. When I say the right to the law of attraction, I mean it. You see, if you want to stay ordinary, on the sofa, insignificant, mediocre, and even moderately satisfied, that's fine. This webinar will make you aware that you attract what you are, not what you want. Faith without works is dead. You see, you are what it is that you think, and the actions actually make things happen. So you have to attract what you are, not what you want. I hear people using the law of attraction all the time: positive thinking, meditation, and the power of prayer. And they're not using it correctly when they don't add the action. The truth of the matter is, all your wishes, prayers, and positive thoughts must harmonize with action and constant practice. Only then have you earned the right to reap the benefits of a harvest. It's a universal law of cause and effect, and it's biblical on so many levels. Faith without works is dead. You reap what you sow. And don't just talk the talk, walk the walk. Now, one of my personal favorites is Mr. Barry White. He says, practice what you preach. I know you guys remember that song. It's a long time oldie but goodie. But Barry sang it best. And when he sang it, everybody listened because it was just the song that lets you know that's what you needed to do. So when you think about, I wanted to play the song for you, so I was trying to get it going here. Here it goes. Oh, I think this must have been the long version, so it didn't quite work. So I'm going to turn that off, but you get the point. Practice what you preach. And what that means is walk your talk. You say you're going to do something, so do it. And get yourself a personal motivator like Barry White. I mean, Barry White says something, you just want to do it. So, okay, let's keep on moving to the next thing when it comes to getting this done. So, it all sounds pretty easy, right? We can just get things going and make it happen. But let's learn a little bit about what that means. Like, what do we need as human beings to make this happen? Well, human beings have four primary needs and two spiritual ones. The first primary need is certainty. And certainty is just about stability and basic necessities like food, shelter, and other material resources. We also need uncertainty. Uncertainty is about variety. We like to change things, our physical activity, mood swings, entertainment, emotions. People need to change their state. And then we also need significance. Everybody wants to feel special sometimes or important in some way. We seek significance, interestingly, in a lot of different ways. Some people try to be significantly insignificant. Like, I'm the smallest one in the room. I know I am. But significance is an important part of our human needs. And finally, as we spoke of with love before, connection. Connection is about being connected to a person, a value, or a sense of identity. And again, it can be an intense engagement or it can be love. You can even feel connected through an aggressive interaction. Our spiritual needs are about growth, and that's because everything in the universe is either growing or dying. And when your capacities are expanding, then you're spiritually growing and you feel more satisfied. And the other one is contribution. Some people can't survive without contributing in some way to the welfare of others. Just like none of us have gotten to where we are without someone contributing into our lives. For example, if you think not, just think that you're here. Someone contributed into you being here. It's spiritually fulfilling and can bring great rewards when you have contribution in your life. So people find ways to meet all of these needs in positive and negative ways, and sometimes neutral ways as well. So even though we all have these needs, some are more outstanding than others at any given time. And we may need one more than another as we get older. For example, certainty may be more important to some people who are older than it might be for a younger population. Um, Even if you don't want your name in lights, for example, you may want people to know that you've been here. So significance may become a factor as you get older as well. So, as you think of the human needs and how they fit into how you think and how you live, understand that they help you in terms of procrastination as well, and in terms of getting out of the procrastination pit. When we begin to know what we need and understand how it fits in with others' needs, we can then really begin to get shift done. So, the human needs fall right in line with Maslow's hierarchy of physiological needs. Again, food, water, sleep, safety, home sweet home, love and belonging, connection, achieving deeper, more meaningful relationships, esteem, that's that significance. You've acquired the skills that lead to honor and recognition, and self actualization. Those are the two, um, growth and spiritual contribution.
So though they fall right in line with Maslow's hierarchy if you were to look back at some of the theoretical data on this. So let's take a look at where we are now. We're going to, for the top four things to keep us from procrastinating, know who you are, know that you're extraordinary, know your fear and face it, align your thoughts with your actions, and change your language to thrilling instead of killing. I don't know if I've mentioned that enough, but it is in the exercise manual to change the way we talk, change the way we think. Easy shift, right? It's like Supergirl coming up and it's easy. We can all change so quickly. Yes, yes, yes. No, it's not so easy. It's really not. I wish you could just run up and change it all that quickly. If it were that easy, we wouldn't be on this webinar talking about it. The bottom line is it's going to take courage and it's going to take strength. And strength is the product of struggle. You must do what others don't to achieve what others won't. It's hard. None of this is easy. And that's what makes it even more growth oriented and challenging for you. It takes a certain energy to make these things happen, and it takes a certain drive. Knowing what you're capable of, what drives you, what fears to face, and how to begin walking the talk is the start. That's where the work begins. And then you have to get some support systems in place. You need tools to help you get through the rough spots and push you forward when you just feel like you don't have another ounce of energy in you to do it. So I've given you four powerful tips, but I want to give you much more. And I definitely want to give you my strangest tip that got me off the sofa to get shift done. So, what am I going to give you? I'm going to give you my widely public, strange secret sauces that elevate and motivate you to action. Truth be told, most of my strange tips are widely public. You can find them anywhere. Now, like, I think everyone knows this stuff because it's really common knowledge. But I learned a long time ago that common for me is not really common for everyone else. So that makes them strange secret sauce recipes. Seriously, it's like I like to use a little oil to soften collard greens if they're tough. And some people think that's a strange secret recipe that I have. For me, it was just common. It softens the leaves. Hot water, a little oil softens the leaves. Anyway, I promised you one strange tip, and I'm going to share that with you. And because you weathered the webinar, I'm going to send you the whole list of widely public strange secret sauces that elevate and motivate you to action if you type in that you want it. So, the one I have for you today is called Make Your Move. So, let me tell you about this first of all. I got this from an Anthony Robbins workshop called Unleash the Power Within. And besides all the wonderful gifts of wisdom I learned from that event, some of which I shared with you today, like the human needs, Tony taught us to get into a state. And a state is like it's the uncertain, it's a different shift. It's a shift of your state of mind, like in the uncertainty when I talked about that. And a state allows you to do anything. This happened after countless hours of work that Tony was doing with us so that I could walk across 6 feet of hot coals. Yes, I walked across 6 feet of hot coals. I was in a powerful energy state where I really could do anything in that moment. So, quick story about that. After walking across the coals, your feet are hosed down with cold water. I was in the state of mind that I could do anything. I mean, I was figuratively on fire. I ran into some people who were doubters and who did not walk across the hot coals and who didn't do all the exercises full out. So they started asking me all type of questions. You really did it? Was it really hot? Was it this? Was it that? Was it this? And I was in this state where I could have gone home and just been cool in my state and stayed happy or whatever. But it finally hit me when they were asking me these questions that I really had walked across hot coals with my bare feet. And so I started getting back into my head. And when I got back into my head and finally said, "Yeah, I did. What the heck was wrong with me? Why did I do that?" I felt a singe in the middle of my foot. And I sat down immediately, noticed that there was an ember left on my foot, and I knocked it off really quick. The water had missed a spot. This ember was still burning. So I knocked it off. It took me back to reality real quick. I was literally on fire now. And I sat there and I thought about it. And what that ember taught me, remembering how I had walked across those coals and didn't feel a thing, and then sat there and felt the singe. What it taught me was how important it is to keep yourself in a state where you want to get shift done. And I still have a little mark on my foot to remind me to keep myself in state, to keep myself at an elevated state so that I can get shift done. So that was my little story. And the strange tip that I'm going to share with you is called Make Your Move. It's an exercise for you to begin to get your body and mind into a state where you could do anything, or at least you can get up off the sofa. So you really have to go through a couple of stages to get to this point. However, I'll just explain the stages and then tell you the Make Your Move exercise. The stages are to quiet yourself. Sit in a chair and settle down. Close your eyes. And let's just do it. Especially if you're at your office, is a good time to do it, and it really will shift you because people are going to think you're crazy. So it's a good time to shift. So quiet yourself. Sit in a chair. Settle down. Close your eyes. Think of a time when you were winning, when you were powerful, when you were at the top of your game. A good mom, a good dad, a good teacher, great at tying your shoe, a good arguer. Find some good moment and stay there. Breathe in through your nose and out of your mouth with deep breaths. Breathe in through your nose and out of your mouth. Breathe into your nose and out of your mouth. Breathe in your win, how powerful you were. Breathe out any negativity. Breathe in that you're at the top of your game. Breathe out the losers. Breathe in how great a parent you are. Breathe out any verbal negativity. Breathe in all the good that's done from the powerful winning moment. Breathe in all the good that you feel. And breathe out anything that disturbs the moment. Now, once you've done this for a little bit, you should feel calm and you should feel strong. You should have a sense that you feel good. Now I want you to stand up and keep your eyes closed if possible. And you're going to start thinking about a move and a sound that goes with it, as if you're celebrating a victory. This could be a yelp or a cheer or a yes. Your hand could go up in the air. It could be a fist pump. You could jump. You may kick a foot. It's your move, whatever your body feels. It's your move. Know that this move means you are moving to a different place. You are shifting. Know that that sound shifts you forward, upward, and gives you power. When I say make your move, I want you to make your move and your sound as loud and as powerful as you can. This is your move. Make your move. Make your move. Make your move. All right, open your eyes. That strange tip is so amazing. And it just shifts who you are. If you don't feel better after a shift like that, after a move like that, I'm not sure what would make you feel better. But even grandma has her move. Take a look at her taking a move. Look at the screen there. Woo, make your move, grandma. That's right. So whenever you want to get off the sofa and do something, just think of that in your head. Think of that powerful moment and make your move. There's a lot more tips in the booklet that I'll send you, and they're not as much as powerful, in terms of you having to make your body move like that. But they are very powerful in the way they work. So I'm not going to keep you any longer. I want to just make sure you understand everything that's going on here. And I want to thank you for joining my Get Shift Done webinar.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed Get Shift Done. This is Dr. Theon, and I am signing off. But first, let me just tell you, send me a note in my contact page at beyondstory.com. And in that page, type in hashtag GSD 2018 if you'd like to join me for one of our 2018 Get Shift Done boot camps. So send me a note. Hope to hear from you soon. Dr. Theon signing off. I'm going to maybe take another spin class. Bye-bye.